Hey, Steve Zonardi here with Remax Treviso North Realty. Just a quick update on the current market. Inventory, 17,317 units. This is exciting. This is very low inventory. Think about it. We came from 33,000 units, so this is actually quite good. 946 sales in the last 7 days, so that's very strong considering, right, the market in itself. Yeah, it is what it is. You know where my take is on this year. We're actually reading an article right now from Bloomberg. It says it's going to get worse in Ontario. Here's what experts predict will happen to the housing market in 2026. You know, we've been talking about this since 2022, so we, I guess, are considered an expert at this point, just based on this information. They're saying that the market's going to, so last year's market, they said it declined between 6.4%. That's an average. When you start taking it into different communities like York Region, Vaughan, different Valour Village, when you start put it into micro communities, you're starting to see a higher percentage. This is an average. So if you kind of look at, like we did that example with Cold Creek Estates, where we saw that the prices were 2.35 million, and now it's down around 37% when I did that post at that time. So the height went up 30, came down to about 37%. So we're at between 2018 and 2019 pricing. Keep reading on the article. Some institutions say the market's going to improve, and some say that it's not. Royal LePage expects the market to drop an additional, what did they say here, 3 to 4%? Or give me 1 sec. I'm going to just read part of this 1 second. Yeah, Royal LePage's outlook is expected another drop between 3.5% to 4.5%. We're predicting 6 to 8%. We feel like we're going to do 30% in the next 4 years. So by 2030, should be 28 to 30% drop off. So we're like 6 to 8% per annum what we think the drop off. The only thing is, if you get, you can have that bulk in the beginning. So you have if we expect 30% off the market, we have a bulk fall, let's say 10 to 15% 1 year, which is possible, totally possible. We saw this in the last 10 years of this constant equalizer effect. It could happen. It could happen this year. All you need, the perfect storm, unemployment, cost of living, affordability, can't pay their bills, got to start unloading properties, which was why we're creating Protect Our Trades program, where we know that the trades are going to be out of work, also need help on how to guide them through that, because they don't have anybody they can lean on. And then coming from the trades, understanding what they need, this is why we're putting that program forward to them, to make sure that they come out of this like they deserve to come out of this, financially healthy and making right decisions. So this is why we created that program. Again, 6.8% unemployment. I think it's a lot higher than that. I think that's real bullshit, to be honest. What else is here? They're talking about anyone who's got a 5-year fixed mortgage in 2021, and obviously they're coming up for renewal this year, which is kind of scary. So if you kind of look at those rates back then, they're probably 2 and 3%, even less, and now you're going to be, let's say, 4 to 6%. So that's pretty much it. Again, looking at the Canadian economy as its own, now they have more issues. Again, it's one bad story after another happening for Canada, and that's also the crude oil situation right now. With Venezuela, basically, obviously, I wouldn't say aligning. America's gone in and taken the oil. Again, we're this is sounds harsher than what it is, but ultimately, world's changing, right? The world is changing all over, and I think every country's got to protect itself and its interests, and the way that the Western Hemisphere needs to be protected going forward with energy. It's also for our future and our kids' future, right? The energy, who has the energy wins the game. So ultimately, you don't want foreign nations in your backyard, because that's obviously a threat to security. You don't want anybody there. So clearly, it wasn't just the Trump administration. It's been the last 10 years, even through the Biden administration, where they wanted to seize the president of Maduro. They'd never realized him as the legitimate president of Venezuela. So ultimately, it is what it is. So now America's got access, or has control of the country in a way, and has control to the crude, which clearly is amazing for America, but also bad for Canada, because that's what Canada trades with the U.S., the crude oil. And as our elbows up. Prime Minister is heading out to China on Wednesday and trying to make a deal with China. Again, like if you can't make a deal with the U.S., you got to make a deal with China now. Like it's crazy. Like just the mentality, just ass backwards. But ultimately, things just keep getting worse in Canada. That's why I remember earlier, the last couple of years, I talked about an economist saying that it'll take literally 30 to 40 years to get back to standards of living in Canada that we were used to, and it's starting to look a lot like that right now. But that's it. If you have any questions regarding your homes, I always say if you can go liquid right now, liquidate what you can and rent back. I mean, that's going to be the message until it's not, and then I'll let you know when it's time to start buying. Is there good deals? Like if you don't want to rent and you just want to buy and hold, yeah, sure, you can. It's obviously everyone's. Everyone should do what they got to do, and we're not going to be objective to that. But again, if I see all this information and not telling you what I believe, then I'm being fake and unauthentic and not a reliable source for information for your financial stability in the future. So this is why we feel strongly on what we're saying, just based on everything that's happening. But that's pretty much it, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.